What would you say if I told you that you could earn $119,000 a year, working just 30 hours a week from home, with no boss, no capital outlay, no equipment, no product, no staff, where you have creative fulfillment and satisfaction knowing that what you do lives on after you, where you can choose who you work with, how you work, when you work. You can choose how much you charge for your work, how quickly you work. And best of all, you can walk away if you don't like the work. Who likes the sound of that? Yeah, good. Good evening, my name is Bernadette Schwert and I'm the founder and CEO of the Australian School of Copywriting. And my role here tonight is to give you some hints and tips and strategies on how you can either become a freelance copywriter, working from home, having your own business, working with lots of different clients, or if you're a business owner, you can work as a copywriter, working for yourself, writing copy for your own business, writing things like ebooks and articles and your web pages and your direct mailers. So if that sounds like it's of interest to you, please listen up. And thank you for staying back as well. I know it's tempting to toddle off into the night. So my goal for you tonight is to enlighten you about how the advertising industry works. I want to unlift the veil of what actually happens in an ad agency, the way people write ads. And ads are all around us. They push our buttons and we buy something. So I want to uncover that process so that you become more conscious that when you buy something, you're buying it for the right reasons, not because an advertiser wanted you to buy it. So I consider you to be the educated few who will know about this, compared to the great unwashed out there who just mindlessly go about watching ads, being affected by them and not knowing why, because there are patterns and formulas and processes that are in place to make you buy. So that's my role tonight, is to give you that education. I'm going to show you how to write an advertisement headline in 3 minutes. So if you don't think you can write copy because you're not creative, or because you haven't had any experience, or you're not a writer, I'm going to blow that belief out of the water, because you will write a headline in 3 minutes. And I'm going to show you how you can make that $117,000 or $119,000 in 1 year with no experience whatsoever, working just 30 hours a week. I'm going to show you how to get started as a copywriter. Okay, there are steps that you can take that will enable you to start. And my students have started literally the week in which they've started the course and earned money in that first week. How to find work as a copywriter? That's a question I get asked all the time. Well, is there a demand? Is there a lot of work out there? And I've got good news for you there as well. And what I want to do is encourage you to believe that this is possible, that this lifestyle, that this career is a reality. It's a reality for many, many people who are doing this already in this country. It's a reality. Why not for you? And I want you to listen to that little voice of intuition that might be saying within you, finally, I've found it. This is what I've been looking for. Because again, that's what a lot of people say to me. I can't believe this exists. I didn't know it was out there. So if you have that little voice that's within you, I really encourage you to act on that and to come and see me at the end and ask some questions if you have them. And also give yourself the opportunity to try this occupation. There is no risk to you. If you become a student of mine, it's 100% money-back guarantee. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So what I'm going to do is give you 80 minutes of valuable content that you can walk away with tonight. And not only will it educate you about how the advertising world works, but it'll also give you some information on how you can write copy for your own business. Do you think that's worthwhile? Fantastic. Great. Great audience you are. Okay, here's what I need from you. I need an open mind. So I'm going to, be telling you some new things that you may not have heard of. So just be willing to believe that this is all true. Now, if you're already a writer, who's already writing or a copywriter? Wow, okay. There's one at the back. Stay engaged. You might learn something that you don't know. Take notes. The more notes you take, the deeper it goes into your consciousness and the easier it is to bring out again. And dream a little. This is possible. I know a lot of people all day have been saying these things are possible, and they are. I just want you to encourage to think that this is a reality for you because lots of people are doing it. And interact with me. I'm going to get you to do a couple of exercises, a couple of little games, so play along if you will. That'll make it a lot more fun. And take action at the end. If you think this is what you want to do, make it a reality for you. Take action. If you don't think it's for you, but you think it's for someone, your wife or your child or your niece or your nephew, let them know about it. Because it is a secret occupation. A lot of people don't know that this occupation exists. So again, thanks for coming. It's great to have you here on a Sunday night. So I'd just like you to turn to your neighbour, if you have one, if you haven't find one, and say, what would you be doing right now if you weren't here? Just take 30 seconds. All right. So congratulations for hanging in, because there could be something you hear tonight that changes your life. So firstly, what is copywriting? What is this magical thing? Well, it's the art of writing promotional material. Material that influences people to do something. Copywriting is about influence, to get people to take action. So when they read something or see something, they do it. They buy, they visit, they click on, they ring up, they visit, they go and do something with the information that you've given them. So we write newspaper advertisements, magazine advertisements, sales letters, internet sales letters. You know those really long internet sales letters that you see with those massive headlines? Well, that's what copywriters write. Billboards. So when you leave home or leave here tonight and you see those billboards with 6 words, copywriters write those, and they're the cream de la cream of advertising, believe it or not, even though there's only about 6 words per billboard. Website pages. Very, very valuable. Emails, newsletters, and there's more. Signage and packaging. Whenever you see a truck roll by and it's got a sign on the side of it, that's copywriting. When you walk past a shop and it's got writing on the window or on a poster, that's copywriting. When you go to the supermarket, you pick up a packet of peas or a packet of chocolate or dog food. The writing on the package is copywriting. So someone has to write this stuff. And most people go about their business never really thinking about this. Those words just appear. But someone is behind the scenes writing that, and it's very strategic. It's very planned. Every full stop, every comma, every hyphen is thought about and argued and debated. Order forms. When you fill out something and you buy something, that form has been written by a copywriter. Of course, radio and TV ads, they're all around us. Tenders and proposals. Big companies need these things to win the job. Someone has to write those. Google AdWords campaigns. You've heard a lot about these sorts of things today. I mean, it's appropriate. I should be speaking at this end of the day because everything you've heard is about the written word. It all begins and ends with the word. In fact, if you think about the biblical quote, in the beginning there was the word. So don't take it from me. Blogs. We don't necessarily get into blogs as much as the Americans do right now, but don't you think we're going to? Who's going to write the blogs? You? Maybe. If you're earning all these millions from internet marketing, you'll be outsourcing them. Of course you will. Social networking sites. Again, we're not big on that right now, but like the Americans are. But we will. We just follow the Americans. You know that, I know that. So let's get on board. You could become the writer of all these social networking sites because I don't even have time to fill out my profile. Who's filled out their profile on all those social networking sites? Good. It's going to be big business. Articles. You've heard about article marketing today. Who's going to write all these articles? Someone's got to write them. And eBay listings. I recently presented to the eBay conference on professional sellers, all the power sellers in the country. And I was telling them about eBay writing. And I have to tell you, I wasn't an eBay fanatic at all. Does anyone use eBay here? Wow, great. Well, I learned a lot because I had to do the research, obviously, to go and talk to them about how to do it. And as I'm doing my research, I'm seeing these hundreds and hundreds of eBay listings, and I'm thinking, they don't know what they're doing. And these are people who are selling a lot. They're power sellers because you can tell up the top how much they've sold. So these are not amateurs, but their websites or their store listings are shocking. And I'm thinking, gosh, if they had just an iota of information about writing, about copywriting, they could blow the competition out of the water. So think about it. Those eBay listings are all fodder for you as a potential copywriter. So you're probably thinking, if this is so good, how come I haven't heard about it? And that's a fair question. Copywriting is what I call the secret occupation. And it's a well-kept secret because copywriters know how good their job is and they don't want other people to know about it. And that's true. And also, this is an important point, it's not accredited. So it's not like a coaching certificate or, becoming a celebrant or responsible serving of alcohol. They all require a certificate and they all require you to go through a government-registered training organisation. Copywriting isn't an accredited course, so that's why you won't see it being advertised. There are no university courses in copywriting. You have to do the advertising degree to get to the copywriting elective. So that's why you probably haven't heard about it. And also, most of the training's been conducted in-house by the advertising agencies. And also, there aren't that many of us to start with. It's a very specialised industry. It's not like we're bank tellers or we're retail workers or telemarketers. They tend to be, more populated, but not copywriters. Now, you've got 80, 90 minutes with me tonight, and thank you again for staying back. But why believe what I have to say? Okay, well, I'm saying don't. Don't listen to what I say, but watch what my students do. That's all I ask. Because I know I'm a skeptic myself. When I'm sitting in an audience, I am sitting back metaphorically with my arms crossed and leaning back thinking, well, why should I believe you? So I'm going to try and demonstrate my credibility to you so that hopefully you'll understand what I have to say, but also just listen to what my students do. And at the end of the day, make up your own mind. So I thought I'd just give you my life in pictures very quickly because I want to demonstrate why I'm standing here, what gives me the right to be here, and also to look at my influences and my experiences and just to give you my credibility statement. Has anyone ever had a big dream in their life when they were a little girl or a little boy? Who's had a big dream? Oh, wonderful. What was your dream?
A ballerina.
A ballerina. Did you have a dream? A pilot. What was your dream? To make money. Fantastic. Well, I had a dream. And has anyone had their dream crushed? So have I. And I'll reveal that to you in a moment. But this is me as a small girl, living my dream of wanting to be an actress. That was my dream, like a ballerina. And so I started young and I was doing calisthenics and I was doing, shows and what have you. And I had this, gleam in my eye for Hollywood because that's what I wanted. And I was I was introduced to movies at a very young age with my mother watching black and white movies. And but she said when I wanted to be an actress since about 17, she said, well, that's all very well and good, Bernadette, but what about in education? What are you going to fall back on? The fall back on story. So I said, okay, well, I'll study something. But I was kind of over school at this stage. I didn't really want to study at that point. So I went and got a job in a bank in a country town in Adelaide, which is where I was from. And I worked as a teller. And you have those defining moments in your life occasionally. Something happens. It's just a small moment, but it's a big deal. And for me, it was the 10 to 3 moment, because banks closed at 3 o'clock in those days. And this clock was 10 to 3, and I remember looking at it going, come on. I was really racing for that clock to finish, because I was just not really in love with my job as a bank teller. And I realised at that moment, I'm actually literally wishing my life away. I'm willing the time to pass. And I thought, is that the way I really want to live my life? And it was a defining moment for me. So still in the back of my head was this Hollywood dream, this to be an actor. So I decided that I'm going to go to university and do what Mum said and get an education to fall back on. But I'm still going to choose something that's as closest to the entertainment industry as I can. So I flicked through the book and advertising came up. To me that seemed like entertainment and a little bit of glamour, a little bit of excitement. And to get to the advertising, I had to do the marketing degree. Which I had to do a business degree to do that. So that's what I did. And I did well and I enjoyed it and I had a great time and I got awards and I became top student in the final year. And then I took a job in the United States and I worked in Louisiana and then Detroit and Philadelphia working in advertising and marketing. Had a wonderful time, lots of formative moments. And then I got this dream job back in Sydney. And it was with Young and Rubicam, one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world. And to me, that was heaven on a stick. So I moved back to Australia and I worked on big accounts like Colgate and Apple and American Express and Optus, BHP. And there was a moment where another defining moment occurred. And it was when I got a pay rise and a promotion. And I was pretty happy with that. I thought, I'm doing quite well for a young girl here. girl from the country, from a bank. And it was at that moment when I got this pay rise, and about 2 days later I realised life's just the same. I got a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more work, but effectively my life has not changed. And I thought, is this what it's going to be like? Regular pay increases if you do okay, but it's really just more of the same. And at that moment I realised that I'm not driven by money. Money will not do it for me. If I'm not in love with my job, it won't do it for me. And what I saw ahead of me was my boss's job. Budgets, hiring, firing, performance reviews. That's what I saw ahead of me, and that's not what I wanted. So I still have this glimmer of Hollywood. I'm getting older now, and my dream is getting a little bit jaded, but I've still got it in the back of my head. So I think there's a job in the paper for Harry M. Miller, working as a celebrity publicist. And I thought, wow, that's got to be the epicentre of the entertainment industry. That's got to be the closest I can get. So I got the job. And I worked with people like Gough Whitlam and Maggie Tabor and Alan Jones and Lindy Chamberlain, what have you. And it was a fascinating occupation. But I realised I'm just sitting at a desk. I'm on the phone a lot. And there's lots of hassles. That was the reality of the job. It wasn't quite what I thought it would be. So this dream is still bugging me in the back of the head. So I thought, I've got to pursue my passion. I've got to give it up and I've got to try acting. So I did. And I resigned and I set up my own consultancy called the Bernadette Schwerp Marketing Consultancy. 10 points for creativity, don't you think? And that's what I did. I did marketing plans and I produced ads and I managed campaigns. And it was quite a nice time, but what I was doing, I was pursuing my acting on the side. I was going for auditions and I was getting small gigs. I didn't have a really very good agent. And just extras work and things like that. And I thought, I've got to change my strategy. So what I did was what I should say was, but what I noticed as I was doing all that work was copywriting, was being the big demand. I was doing marketing plans because that's what I've been trained to do. I didn't really perceive myself to be a copywriter because I just did the pre-work, the preparation work, and then I gave it away to a copywriter. And I realised after a while, I'm giving it away. I'm giving away all the cream, all the good stuff. So I decided that I'm going to do it. And for me, that was a big step because in my head, I wasn't a copywriter. So I had to make that leap into believing that I could write. And a friend of mine who was doing both at the same time, both strategic stuff and copywriting, I said, John, I just feel like I'm a fraud if I was to say I'm a copywriter because I don't have any training, I don't have any experience. And he said, Bernie, do you write letters? Yeah, sure. He says, do you write proposals? Yeah. Do you correct the copy that comes back from the copywriters? Yeah. Do you write memos? Yeah. He says, you're a writer. He says, I now anoint you a writer. And from that moment on, I know it sounds a bit corny, but from that moment on, that's when I decided I am a writer. So I went out, got my business card, printed copywriter on it. And in my first occupation, when I was talking to someone, I gave them this card saying I'm a copywriter. And I was waiting for them to go, no, you're not. Don't you lie to me. That's what I was waiting for, but it never came. I thought, this is interesting. And I went on and on and on. But so basically, I was a self-taught copywriter, and I looked around and I saw what other people are doing, and I did it, basically. And then I went back to my old agency, and I got work with them as a copywriter. So I was sort of using that as my base. And then NIDA called. I thought, I've got to go and get some formal training, because it's not, I'm not cutting it as an actor. I'm not getting the work. So I applied for NIDA, and I didn't get in. I failed. So I tried again, because you've got to go a couple of years in a row. And I got a call back, and I thought, brilliant, I've got a step ahead. But I failed. I didn't get in. I've got to cast my net a little wider. So I went to the VCA, which is the Victorian College of the Arts, which is the equivalent in Melbourne. And I got in. I couldn't believe. And when I got that phone call, it was the highlight of my entire life. I can tell you that nothing compared to getting that phone call, because it was like my dream from when I was 5 had come to fruition. So I moved to Melbourne, and that's what the brochures look like, and that's what it really looks like. Who's from Melbourne? And I started my career at the VCA, and I did year 1, and it was fantastic, and it was everything I thought it would be, and I'm acting every day, and it's really hard yakka, 9 to 6, rehearsals at night, no time to earn a living. It was amazing. And I got through to year 2, and I thought, this is going fantastic. By the end of year 2, I got a little letter from the dean saying, you have failed. I kid you not. I was shocked. I thought I was doing fine. I got this letter saying, you've failed. You've got to do the year again. I go, are you kidding me? So I did year 2 again. And at the end of the year, I got a letter. And in that letter was my results. And in order to pass that year, I needed to get 50 out of 100. Do you know what mark I got? 49. True story. I failed. And I tell you, I went to my car and I sat in the driver's seat and I rested my head on the steering wheel and I sobbed. I'm even emotional just talking about it because it was a dream that just didn't work out. So, I know what it's like to have dreams not come true. But you know, it makes you, doesn't it? I can't even believe I'm saying this in front of 50 people. Most of my close friends don't even know that story. I was so humiliated because I gave up my job and my career and my friends and my house to move to Melbourne to do this. So anyway, I failed. And this really came to mind. You will not pass go. There's no way you're going to be an actress. And so I was pretty sad about that. And I felt like hunting down the dean and shooting her. But that's not where I put that picture there. It's because I soldiered on. I kept going. And I trundled and I went for audition after audition after audition. And I finally had a little bit of luck. And I got onto Neighbours. And I thought that was fantastic. But I kept going, thinking I've still got that dream, you know, the Kate Blanchett dream, the Nicole Kidman dream. And I got onto Blue Heelers. So it was this really big disparity between what I wanted and what I was actually getting. But I was happy with that, you know, I was cool with that. And then Round the Twist came along and a few other shows, and Neighbours kept coming back, and I did numerous roles on Neighbours. And I did plays, and I got great reviews, and, you know, I produced. But copywriting throughout this whole time was my saviour. It kept me going. When I was acting and not making much money, copywriting was my fundamental linchpin. And I was doing some work for Melbourne Uni. And whilst I was there, they said, why don't you run a short course to teach people how to become copywriters? And it never really occurred to me. I thought, oh yeah, why not? Because there was no training around. It was really unheard of at the time. So I put together this program and it sold out really quickly. I put on program after program and it sold out. Hence, the Australian School of Copywriting was born. And that's been my company. And now we work with the New South Wales Writers' Centre and the Victorian Writers' Centre and the Melbourne Uni Student Union and Women's Network Australia, and they're our partners in running these courses. And I started to travel with it, and I started to travel training both copywriting, I was coaching, and I was communication skills and all sorts of things. Had a wonderful time, you know, moving around the world doing that. And I've actually trained about 800 people in copywriting in 8 years. And then I met my life partner. I'm 38 thinking, time has passed me by. I'm going to be one of those little old ladies in a flat with 8 cats, eating dog food. And I met my partner at 38 and I turned 40 and I had a baby. And then I got married. It was kind of the wrong way around as far as my mum was concerned, but that was okay. It all worked out in the end. But having a baby really changed everything because I thought, how am I going to travel? How am I going to run my seminars? And you know, until you're not pregnant, you don't think that. But when you're pregnant, you realise, I ain't going anywhere when this baby's born. So I created the home study program, and copywriting again was my saviour. And this was born. And this became even more popular than my seminar because now people from all around the country and around the world could do it. And I have got students in Amsterdam and Spain and England and Hong Kong and Malaysia and Singapore and New Zealand. So this is what's become my lifeline. And this is the product. And then started, you know, people getting interested in what I was up to and running this unique course. So I got lots of publicity and I write for magazines. I have a column called Ask Bernie in this magazine, which is quite new. I write headlines, write articles for them every month. And so here I am today and I've come full circle back on the stage, which I think is quite ironic. But what I'm saying too, also there's a point to this, and that is everything you've done in your life you can use as a copywriter. And that's why you don't need experience as a writer, because your life is your experience. You might be really good at something, you've spent 10, 15, 20 years in an occupation. Write about that. That can become your client industry. So I really believe that everything you've done and continue to do become the raw material for being a good copywriter. So that's why age is not really a factor. In fact, the older you are, the more experiences you have, probably the better you are. So every experience is useful and everything you do is fodder for this career. As I said, but don't listen to me. Listen to what my students say, and I'm going to show you what they've got to say later on. So what sorts of people become copywriters? What sorts of people? Well, business owners. I have a lot of business owners come to me saying, I'm sick of paying copywriters, I want to do it myself, I don't want the time lag between when I brief a copywriter and when I get the material. By that stage, my products are sitting there, I need to shift them. And also just the power to update your own website, to send out a little emailer, just to get some response happening quickly. Freelance writers wanting to add copywriting to their bio, so if you're already a writer, which a few of you are, add copywriting. It's just another skill that enables you to earn more. Mothers with small children. I have a lot of students who are mothers who come to me and they say, look, I need to work from home. How can I do that? And copywriting is it. Career women who are thinking about having a family but want to set some plans in motion so that when they have a child, their whole business is set up. A lot of retired or retrenched senior execs who are a bit bored, want to earn a bit of income, a bit of mental stimulation as well. And of course, employees of companies who need to sharpen up their skills so they can write more effectively for their employer. We get lots of arts and media and advertising and PR grads, young Gen Ys who just want to join the industry, and this is a stepping stone into that. And a lot of 50-plus women who have got empty nests. So the kids have gone, they've got time on their hands, a little bit of money, and they're looking for something a bit different. And of course, non-English speaking, people come to me and say, look, I don't speak English as my first language. Can I still be a copywriter? And I say, yeah, of course you can. Because your whole world, your whole ethnic heritage is fodder for your copywriting. Be a translator of ads for your publication, for your ethnic race. So look, why is copywriting such a great business opportunity? Well, it costs nothing to get started. I've already mentioned that. You need no capital investment, no products, no staff, no union dues, there's no memberships, there's no previous experience required, no franchise expense. If you buy a Boost juice or something, or a Snap printer, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started potentially. And of course, no accreditation. You're as good as your last ad. And that's the beauty of this industry. It's very egalitarian. It's very democratic. It doesn't matter what you look like, who you know, what you've done. If you can write an ad, you'll get another ad. If you can't write an ad, you won't get the next one. So it's very much results-based, which is very refreshing, wouldn't you say, in a world where sometimes skill is not the key requirement to getting ahead? So what other business can offer the same? Well, all that's needed is you and a pen. I'm going to show you how easy it is to write copy tonight, okay? I've got some formulas that you can use that will literally let you write an ad, a headline for an ad, in under 3 minutes. So I'm going to show you how that works in just a moment, but before I start, I need to educate you a little bit about the role of headlines in advertisements and why they are so important. So there's two types of advertising you need to be aware of. Okay, firstly, there's the conceptual type, and then there's direct response. Now, if you're a business owner and you're advertising and you're spending money and you're putting your money into the wrong pot and not getting a result, it's probably because you're putting it into the wrong pot, and I'm going to show you how that works. So there's two types, okay? On this side, the conceptual, we've got awareness and branding. So this is what the big corporations do. They plough their money into big TV campaigns so that we start to associate a feeling with a brand. So when or start to associate even words with a brand. So when I say, oh, what a feeling, thank you. Which bank? Yeah, they don't even use that anymore, and it's still really powerful. Just do it. Yeah. So that's the power of branding. You keep at people enough for long enough with the same message, they will associate you with a certain emotion and feeling. Direct response, it's selling. We need a reaction, we need it now. Conceptual ads tend to be light on copy, not much, whereas direct response, we've got quite a bit of copy because we want to sell something now, so we've got to give information. Conceptual is about long term. These big corporations are ploughing money, millions every year, into their campaigns. Look at Telstra. How much money do they spend? Direct response, it's immediate. We need action now. We can't afford to wait 6 months before we get someone to put their hand in their pocket. And of course, conceptual, well, they don't need action. It's just to say, here we are, these crazy ads that don't mean anything. They're just entertaining to watch. Direct response, it's response-driven. We need action now. We want people to ring or click or visit. So I want you to start thinking, as you see some of these examples, what work appeals to you? What sort of ads can you see yourself doing? So we're going to look at some great ads, some award-winning ads. And as we do, I'm going to take you through the process that they use to write these ads. I should ask, does anyone have a Porsche here? Just want to clarify. Okay, so as you can see, it gives a bit of a reaction. There's a bit of humour in there, and conceptual ads are great for humour. They don't necessarily get a great response, like direct response will, but they're good for a bit of a laugh. Now, I'm going to break this ad up into 3 pieces, okay? You've got your headline, which is those words up the top. You've got your image, which is the car. And then you have this little bit of body copy down here about, who to ring, what have you. So basically, conceptual ads go into 3 components: headline, image, body copy. Now, I want you to imagine just for a minute that this headline, would you call it a bit weird, a bit crazy, a bit bent? Okay, that's what's called a bent headline. Look at the image. Is it a pretty straightforward image? Yeah, there's nothing particularly unusual, is it? So we've got a straight image. When you have a bent headline and a straight image together, it's called juxtaposition. And it informs, it becomes interesting to watch because people are... And I noticed the reaction. You read the headline, you go, huh? And then you see the picture and the logo and you go, aha. And there's the humour. So it's like this reveal, you see, and it makes sense once you've seen the whole thing. That's a good conceptual ad. Here's another one. Okay, so what are they selling here? What are they saying we're going to get rid of? Bad breath. It's really quick. You pick it up instantly, don't you, what this whole ad is about. You don't have to read heaps of copy to find out what they're doing. Similar. Is this image straight or bent? It's straight. It's just a classic bottle. Is the headline slightly unusual? Yeah. Okay, so we got a straight image, a bent headline. Now, let me take it a step further. If we were to take that picture away and just leave you with that headline, would it be very interesting? Would it be a bit like, huh? It wouldn't make sense, would it? And likewise, if I was just to leave the image there and take away the headline, you'd be thinking, so? But you put them together and they become something greater than the parts. That's the power. See, if you had TCP just sitting there and the headline was, gets rid of bad breath, it's like a straight image and a straight headline. And what is it? Thank you. It's boring. So now when you see an ad, I want you to think about, is the headline bent or straight? Is the image bent or straight? And if it's a great ad for you and it makes you laugh or makes you shocked and whatever it is, I can guarantee you it's because they're using the bent and straight image paradox. For those of you down the back, it says, the holidays aren't the same without J and B. So, is the headline, the Ingle Bells, is straight, a bit crazy? A bit crazy, isn't it? A bit unusual, doesn't make sense. But this little bit down the bottom, the holidays aren't the same, that's just straight, isn't it? Put them together, it makes sense. I love this ad. I think it's so gorgeous. It's so simple. All these people, smiling away. Same principle. Down the bottom it says The Economist. What are they selling? The answers, yes, secrets, inside information. It has many levels of meaning, that particular keyhole. So again, what's the overriding message of The Economist ad? This is a campaignable series, as they call them. Get ahead. Read our magazine, you get ahead. Now, what we're about to show you is some ideas on how to write headlines for yourself. But we're not reinventing the wheel. Okay, these headline formulas are tried, they're tested, they're proven. You don't need to be creative. You don't need to even be a writer. I use these headlines all the time because I'm thinking, why would I waste time coming up with my own headline when I can use my own formulas? And these are not my formulas, by the way. They've been passed down for many years from advertising copywriters. So, how to write direct response headlines that get a response, because that's what we want, isn't it? We haven't got 6 months to wait while we wait for someone to make the connection between that brand and that image and that feeling. So I'm going to show you the top 6 formulas. The first one is the how-to, and this is like the rock star headline. Everyone uses this. And I guarantee you, when you leave here tonight, you'll start to see these how-tos everywhere. You probably didn't notice them before, but you're going to see them now because I've made you aware of them. And what they do is they promote an idea. They're saying, we're going to show you something. We're going to educate you about something. And in fact, a lot of the stuff I've been seeing here today, with a lot of the websites that have come up about what people are selling, there's heaps of how-tos. How to make a cocktail, how to make a dinner party, blah, blah, blah. Lots of how-tos out there already. I don't want you to bother about the body copy. You're not meant to read that right now. I just want you to look at the headline and to see that you put the how-to in front of something. And it makes you a bit more interested in what you're about to read. And also what it does is it targets the market. So do you think anyone who's interested in advertising cars is going to be interested in this ad? No. But if you're interested in travelling, if you've got airlines or tourist attractions or car rental, they're going to be interested in this. Here's another one in the same series, how to create food advertising that sells. Are people who sell tennis rackets going to be interested in this? No. But if you sell food, yes, you will. So the point of direct marketing is to target your audience down to a very small niche. We've heard a lot about that today. Write an ebook about ballroom dancing or about handy women. Really niche topics. And this is the power of the headline. When you make the headline a niche headline about a particular group, people in that group will read it. You'll lose all the other people, but that's okay because they're not your target market. You all know this. And the beauty of how-to headlines is what they do is they take off the how-to, just for a moment, take off the how-to as if it's not there, and it leaves you with the benefit, doesn't it? It says, win friends and influence people. It gives you that, and that's what the ad is saying. We'll show you how to get that. Take off the how-to, and it tells you that you're going to escape your career rut. How I made $850,000 on the internet. So it's instructional. It's enticing you to read on. How to build a better business. How to be a VIP. This is a poster. How to buy cheap DVDs and games and make money. You can add how-to in front of any benefit and suddenly it becomes interesting. Because I've had people say, couldn't I just leave off the how-to and just have buy cheap DVDs? Well, sure you can, but you're not going to get as good a response unless you put the how-to in front of it. And I'll demonstrate the point. Read these two statements for me, just for yourself. And as you read the second one, I want you to tell me, is there a subtle shift in you? Is there a resonance that doesn't occur with the first one? Okay. Now reading the second one. Would you agree? It's just a slight shift, isn't there? It invites you in to say, you're about to hear a good story about how I was saved from bankruptcy. Now, you can take this headline formula and add a twist. The here's how and the learn how to headline. So here's an ad that's out there at the moment. Do you know what they're selling? Sat-navs. So it's a pretty incongruous product for how to save your marriage. So again, these are not funny, they're not clever, but they get a result. And that's what we're about with copywriters. Okay, here's a learn to. Okay, because you could say, meditate in a magnificent Tibetan temple. But just by putting the word learn to in front of it, it increases the potency of this particular ad. Now you can adapt these to suit you. So I want you to just think about, if you have a business, how would you do it? So how to find new clients without spending a cent or cold calling. I've just made it up and whacked how to in front of it. Here's how to sell ebooks over the internet. Really simple headline. Who'd be interested in knowing about that? Everyone who's been on the stage today has talked about that. Learn how to make $100,000 as a coach working just 20 hours a week from home. It's instructional, it's giving you, it's promising you something. So, for a moment, just turn to your neighbour. If you haven't got one, just join up. And I want you to write a headline using one of these formulas. How to, here's how, or learn how to. You can either write it for a business that you work for, or you can write it for a business you'd love to have, or just a product or a service that you enjoy. Alrighty, and bring that to a close. And I know I haven't given you much time, but any suggestions? Anyone got a headline for me? Yes, thank you.
How to have your head on my pillow in the next 3 minutes.
Did everyone hear that? How to have your head on my pillow in the next 3 minutes. Is that what I heard? You need a chocolate for that. Catch. All right. Thank you. Can I ask what you're selling?
I've got a motel.
She's got a motel. Fantastic headline. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, it could be selling a number of different things, which you'd have to be a bit careful about. But it's a fantastic headline. How long did it take you? 2 minutes. I'm seriously wrapped with that headline. Well done. Who else? Hard act to follow, but let's go for it.
How to turn your passion for rugby league into $700 profit every week.
Okay, how to turn your passion for rugby league into profit of $700 per week. Fantastic. Chocolate for you. Can I ask what you're selling? An ebook. See, there you go. This is perfect for ebooks. Wouldn't you agree? Perfect. You just whack the how-to in front of your benefit. Excellent. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Who else? Yes, thank you. Say it again.
Here's how to get an A in quitting.
Here's how to get an A in quitting. What are you selling?
Leave
Okay, good.
the job. Going to do, yeah.
Good work. Who wants to quit their job? Okay, one more. Oh, you was quitting your job. Go for it.
How to play poker like a pro.
Excellent. And you know what I'd add to that? And make $100,000 a year. Okay, add that little kicker on the end and you got a winner. Well done. Are you a poker player?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for sharing. Can you see how easy that was? I've got 19 formulas that you can use. Here's another one. The What Everybody Ought to Know headline. Now, this headline involves what's known as long copy, because what you're trading on is that you don't know something that you should. It's great for experts who think they know everything, and they look at this headline and they go, maybe I don't. Maybe I should know a little more. So the question I get asked all the time is, how much copy should I write? You know, how long should the copy be? Because there's this big debate in advertising circles about long copy versus short copy. Now, my answer to that is, well, it depends. But the real answer will be demonstrated by this little story. There was this man called Max Hart, and Max Hart owned an advertising agency called Advertising with Hart. And Max hated long copy. And by the way, that's long copy. That's what we know as long copy, all right? He hated it, yet his copywriters who worked for him loved it. And he said, guys, enough with the long copy. No one reads it. I don't read it. I hate it. Stop with the long copy. And one of his young gun copywriters said, Max, I completely disagree with you. He said, I'm going to bet you $10,000 that you'll read a 3-page letter, word for word, based solely on the headline. And Max said, okay, I'll take your bet on. So the copywriter went away for a few minutes and he wrote down 5 words in a headline. And he gave it back to Max. And Max opened it up and he looked at the headline and he said, you've won your bet. Here's your $10,000. Do you want to know what the 5 words were? The truth about Max Hart. So, the moral of the story is that when the headline is relevant to you, when it's personal, you will read every single word. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's relevant, people will read it. It doesn't matter how long it is. And I'll tell you, one of my students who I taught played this back on me, a joke. He sent me an email, and in the subject header it was, "The truth about Bernadette Schwert." And I'd forgotten I'd even talked about the headline. You see, people forget about these formulas. I forget about them, and I'm giving them out to people. So I get this email and I'm going, I didn't know him that well. And I said, what does he know about me? And of course I opened it up and he said, tricked you, got you back. He said, did it work? And of course it worked like a treat. I had my own headline put back on me. It was fantastic. Now, you can adapt these headlines to suit you, okay? What every CEO ought to know about sacking employees. So if they're about to sack an employee, do you think they're going to read this? Because it trades on the principle of, maybe there's something I don't know that I should know. That's what it's trading on. Here's another one. What every CEO ought to know about superannuation. Now, you can add a twist to this headline and give it what's called a kicker. What every CEO ought to know about superannuation before June 30. So you add a little qualifier. Because that brings on the urgency, doesn't it? You can see it's like this. You saw these all the time around about May 20, June 20, when the end of the tax year was rolling around. You've got to do everything by June 30. So we're moving on now to the numbers and the lists headlines. And these are fantastic. They're so simple to use. We all know the Ten Commandments, right? And there's certain lists out there in the world that are in our consciousness. And the reason lists work really well is because we get a heads up on how long the list is. It's telling us it's 10 commandments. It's not going to take that long to read. Now, we take that principle of having a list or a well-known number, and we add the twist to things like the millionaire's 10 commandments. Because the 10 commandments assumes that, they're set in stone, and this is exactly what you need to know to lead a life of wonder. The 7 deadly sins, another famous list. And this is a real book. The 7 deadly chess sins. Now, again, I'm not into chess, but if you were, you'd have to take a look at that, wouldn't you? And again, can you see the specific nature of this particular headline? It's about chess sins. It doesn't get much more detailed. Okay, here's a different one. Pocket Superannuation Guide, the 50 Crucial Answers You Need by Anne Lamp. How Australians can grow their retirement income. Now, what they've done is they've used a number in the headline and the how-to. So they've got the 50 and then the how-to. So you can mix and match your headlines as well to have a bit more effect. Now, you can adapt this to suit you. 50 ways to become a self-made millionaire. And add the kicker, through property. You see, it's okay to say 50 ways to become a self-made millionaire, but it could be through drug running, couldn't it? It could be through kidnapping. It's not hard to make money if you have certain morals. But through property, it qualifies it down to a certain group of people who are interested. And that's what you want, because every day when we're reading the newspaper and then listening to the radio and watching the billboards and flicking through web pages, we're not waiting for something to come along. We're not breathlessly waiting for the company's ad to appear. We're actually going about our business. So the ads have to stop us in our tracks and stop us from moving on. That's what a headline has to do. If your headline doesn't work and it's boring and it's banal, we just move on because we're not waiting for your ad. And as a result, all the work that you've done and put into your ad, your great offer, whatever it might be, is gone to naught because people haven't even noticed the ad in the first place. So spend 80% of your time on your headlines, and then you've got your audience, and then they'll read on. 3 powerful reasons why you shouldn't buy diamonds from a retail jewellery shop. Again, how specific is this? But if you're a jeweller or a wholesaler and you wanted people to come to you for personal work, handcrafted, this is the sort of ad you could use. Top 10 ways to save on your mobile phone bill. Again, reasonably boring, but it hits the hip pocket of a lot of people. So that's of value to a lot of people. And in fact, if you watch A Current Affair and Today Tonight, they use these headlines all the time as their story features because they know that this appeals to the masses. So some tips, if you're going to use a number in a headline, there's certain things you need to do to build credibility, is to use a 0 in the number, okay? Or an odd number, so 3, 7, 9, 101. Basically what I'm saying is don't use an even number, okay? It's just psychology. It says, well, if it's even, it's too neat. So has this been useful so far? These sorts of headlines. You can use these, the minute you walk out of here, you can use this for your own business. Even just when you send an emailer to somebody, make sure the subject header that you put in is interesting. Maybe it's a how-to. because you want your emails to be read. Do you think you could write headlines based on these formulas? Well, you already have. Fantastic ones coming through. Now, the question I get asked a lot is how much work is there for copywriters? And it's a good question. Now, in my opinion, demand is huge. And you're probably sitting there thinking, well, she would say that, wouldn't she? But I'm going to give you some evidence as to why it's true. This was a survey conducted by Robert Halves International on behalf of Yahoo. And what it said was these are the top professions for 2007 and the years beyond. Now, the top one was internal auditor. I can't wait to be that, but that's not my cup of tea. I'm terrible with numbers. But copywriter was second on the list. Okay, and what they're saying here is, just as a quick sample, due to the increased demand, average starting salaries for senior copywriters will rise 6% from $63,000 to $92,500. So that number I plucked out of 117 is not a magic figure that I've got from nowhere. It's based on fact, and I'm going to show you how to make that. Copywriters who specialise in a particular industry, such as pharmaceuticals, will be in particular strong demand. So the more specialised your copywriting, the more money you can make. Copywriters who work for internet marketers, like Deborah just mentioned, like, who was that chap she mentioned? I can't remember, but copywriters who work specifically in internet marketing make a lot of money because they make their clients a lot of money. Here's a clipping from The Age. It's talked about the shortage of creative staff. And what they're talking about here is saying that people like copywriters, marketing, video production, and web designers are in short supply. And that there's this war on with recruitment agents to attract the right applicant. This was just a search that I did on Seek yesterday rather, and there was 57 jobs available for copywriters on that day. And this is just a job ad that I picked out because it gave an income, so I want you to know that this is the sort of money that people are paying as 100K. And this was an email I got this week. I get these emails every day. And this is what it says. I'll just read it out quickly. It's 19th of November. Dear Bernadette, hi Bernadette, we have a digital marketing company and I regularly need a copywriter to work on long sales pages and home pages of corporate sites. Are you able to put me in touch with any of your high-end, cutting-edge students looking for paid work? Some of my recent clientele range from the chairman of, I won't put that in because it's private, Australia's largest car franchise and the largest adjustable company in the world. So your help would be most appreciated. Kind regards, Daniel, Internet Marketer. So now I have a dream team. I've plucked my key students, just a certain number of them, and they're now working as copywriters and I find them leads. So I give them work. They don't have to leave their desk and find clients. I give the work to them and they go out and do the work. So that's the potential for you if you're interested. Something that will be open to you if you become my student. So you've got to ask, well, why has this demand occurred? Why is this occupation that you probably never even heard of before tonight, why is it now, in your own minds, becoming such a huge industry? Well, there are three reasons. The proliferation of small business startups. Now, here are some stats from the ABS. June 2008, 482,883 small businesses in existence in New South Wales. 96% of all businesses in New South Wales are small business. Okay, so a very, very small percentage of them are big corporations. The majority of businesses in this country are small. 10,000 new businesses start up each year. And 62% of small business operators are home-based. Now you might be thinking, well, what's the point? What am I making here? Well, the point I want to make is that of all those small businesses in New South Wales, every business needs to constantly update website brochures and emailers. Okay? They all need to update that. If you don't update your website, or you see a website that's not updated since 2006, what do you think about that company? Beg your pardon? Defunct. Or Slack, or not web savvy. And either three of those reasons is a reason why you wouldn't want to do business with them. 96% of all businesses in New South Wales are small businesses. What's good about that? Well, most small businesses can't afford an advertising agency. So they need freelance copywriters. You know, these businesses don't need to hire Young and Rubicams of the world because they have a need for an ebook here, an emailer there, a brochure here, a web page there. They don't need to have a copywriter on staff paying them all that time when they don't need the work. So they just bring freelancers in. And lastly, 10,000 new businesses every year coming onto the market. Well, new supply of clients every year. It's fresh, it's a really dynamic area. New businesses need lots of marketing material. And the reason why so many businesses go out of business in their first year of business is because they don't have marketing materials. They don't know how to market their business. They don't know how to write it and put it into the written form and send it out to the world, which is really what a business is, isn't it? A business is just an idea that you've plucked out, committed to paper and sent out. That is a business. If you don't commit it to paper, what does it remain? An idea. The power of the written word and marketing materials is unparalleled. Secondly, the awareness has increased. So about copywriting, there's more courses about marketing. There's situations like this where all day you've learnt about marketing. These didn't exist 5-10 years ago. Not to the degree they are here today. Things like the Gruen transfer. Who watches the Gruen transfer? Yeah, fabulous show. That's increased the knowledge of the advertising world. Look, 5 years ago, I couldn't give copywriting away. And by that I mean I have what I call the guest client exercise in my seminars. And how that works is I have all my students and I have all these small business owners. And I invite them in and they give the student a brief. And the students go away and they write material for this business owner. And so what I'm doing is I'm giving the students a chance to get some work experience and to put their practice into theory or their theory into practice. And the business owners are getting all this wonderful copywriting work for free, which they'd normally have to pay, thousands of dollars for. So I'm putting these two groups together and it's a win-win for everybody. So that's part of the exercises that you get when you do my courses. Now, after I'd exhausted all my friends who have small businesses, I come to my seminar, I need you to come in, I've got all my students, they're waiting for somebody, and I exhausted all my friends who have small businesses. So I started to cold call and I'd ring up and I'd say, look, I've got this course, I really need your help, would you like to come in? You'll get all this. And they were going, no. You're mad, you're absolutely mad. They just didn't get it. But now it's a very different story. I've got a backlog of clients waiting to work with my students. So that to me says people understand now the power of copywriting. A lot of people didn't even know what it was many, many years ago. So the third reason is the increase in websites. Okay, 9 billion active web pages, and that's growing every second. Nobody even really knows how many web pages are out there. It's a monster. And there are 1 million pages being added every day. Now, someone has to write those web pages, don't they? They don't just appear. Someone has to write them. Someone has to update them. I mean, the web is the biggest thing to hit copywriting, because prior to the web, we had brochures, we had direct mail, we had postcards. Fairly stock standard stuff, but it was reasonably limited in what you could do. Now the web, it's a content monster. It just devours content. So you've got to keep up with the content. Words on the page matter a lot, and Google ranks pages based on content. You've probably heard this today. But if you don't know your keywords for your website or for your business, and you're not peppering your website with those keywords in a logical and elegant way, Google will not rank you. Because what Google is saying, well, she's got lots of these keywords on her homepage. She must be relevant to that industry. We're going to give her a high page rank. That's what Google are looking for, relevant search results. So if you don't have great keyword content and density, lots of words that are all relevant and all well, contextualised, you won't get ranked. And Google can pick up context too, believe it or not. You can't just go, just say for my site, copywriting, 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 copywriting. You can't just dump a bunch of keywords onto your site and hope for the best, which people used to do, and they got blacklisted. You have to write it in a way that makes sense to a consumer, because Google are onto it. They're really smart. So these AdWords are becoming more important. If you don't know what your keywords are, you're in trouble. Only 1% of businesses in Australia use AdWords. So the market for AdWords is going to blow your mind because everyone will need an AdWord campaign in time. We're in the infancy of the internet, really. So the opportunities for copywriters in the future. SEO copywriting. Now, we've heard a bit about this today, and for a lot of people it's like, SEO what? And I understand that that may not be a term you understand fully, but the reality is that search engine optimization copywriting will be huge. There's not enough SEO copywriters to go around right now. And by what I mean by SEO copywriters is someone who doesn't just write copy for like brochures and TV commercials and what have you. They write specifically for the web. They look at a website, they look at the keywords of that industry, they look at your meta tags to see what's in your meta tags, all those keywords, and they'll address that and they'll make it better. They'll improve it so that when it gets ranked, it's going up the list. And you SEO every page on your website. So I might be getting ahead of myself, which I don't want to do, but I just wanted to let you know that in the future, if a website is not optimised, it won't rank because all your competitors will optimise their sites. So the role of an SEO copywriter is going to explode. eBay, I think I mentioned earlier in this presentation that I spoke at this conference, and I was again blown away by the potential for copywriting to have an impact on eBay listings. And look, I understand why people don't use copywriting, because they don't know it. They don't understand it, and you've got to have a little bit of understanding of how it works. And yet these people are selling audio equipment, tools, hammers, videos, dolls, dresses. Why would they have any understanding of copywriting? It's not their business. But in time, if they understand the power of what copywriting can do to their listing, they will get on board the bandwagon. I mean, I had people at that seminar who run companies like Dinosaur Deals, Deals Direct, these are $100 million companies, and they're furiously writing the tips that I'm giving them. I'm thinking, gosh, this is information that people don't know. I guess I take it for granted because I do it every day. But these are people who are incredibly successful without copywriting. So they came to me after and says, can you get me some copywriters? We need copywriters. And also what I found when I was researching was there's not many books on this, copywriting and eBay. So, and I looked on the eBay site, obviously they give you a few tips, but not in detail. So this market is wide open for copywriters to really make your mark. So, and also the beauty of this is you can work from home and work around the world because eBay is international. You haven't got to go to people's premises to write their eBay listing. Most people prefer not to see you. I had a client a student of mine had a client that I gave her. And I said, look, you should probably go and visit. They like a visit in the first place so you can get to know them. And it turns out the client said, I don't want to visit. Can we just work remotely? So we're moving more and more into this remote world of where people don't even want to see each other. It's good for some, I guess. So no need to leave your house. You could specialise as an eBay writer. Like if you love eBay, and there's quite a few people here who loved eBay, why not become a specialist eBay writer? Then everything you buy on eBay becomes a tax deduction because it's all in the name of research. And I'm being slightly facetious, but I'm being kind of true as well. As a copywriter, and go speak to your accountant, but as a copywriter, everything you do is fodder for your writing. It's all research. Like when I had a child, I happened to be writing for a parenting site at the time. So everything I bought about kids and babies was a tax deduction. Prams and bottles and baby food and nappies. It was fantastic. So you pick the industry you want to work in and you want to get product in, and it's all a tax deduction. Talked about this too, social networking sites, Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn. Who will write these things? These are going to become essential. And I know we don't necessarily agree with that right now because it's not impacting us, but it will become de rigueur to have these sites. So who says there's a recession with copywriting? Not me. I think copywriting is going to increase because as businesses get leaner and tighter with the way they do business, they're going to get more effective in the way they market. And to be more effective, you have to write good copy. It's not about the number of emails you send, it's the quality of the information that you send. So copywriting is easy to get started. Okay, and I know you're probably sitting there arms folded, leaning back, saying, yeah, well, she would say that. But look, most people, this is what they do. When I meet someone and I say I'm a copywriter, they don't ask me who I've worked with. They don't ask to see my portfolio. And they will take me at face value based on the card that I give them, which has got copywriter written on it. I can't tell you the power of a business card. Like, do you ever get a business card from a lawyer and go, no, you're not? You don't, do you? You don't question a business card. It's staggering how much value and gravitas we put into a business card. And it's just, you can go to the printer and get one for $50. You can become anything you want. And also, they're happy to meet you. You know, when I meet people and I tell them I'm a copywriter, the first thing they say is, well, what's that? But second, they go, oh. You know, it's like this little light bulb goes on because they know I can help them. So if you want to earn $117,000 a year, working just 30 hours a week, here's how. I'm going to show you how this is broken down. Now, I'm going to make some assumptions, okay? The first one is we're writing, say, a brochure. A4, just a normal size sheet of paper, two-sided. That's the piece of material that we're making, okay? Now, in my estimation, it takes about 10 to 15 hours to write a brochure like this, of reasonable complexity. If it's a Chinese restaurant, you know, maybe 7 or 8 hours, maybe 6. But if I'm talking about, say, a lawyer or an engineering firm or a mortgage broker, reasonably complex content, then, you know, this is what I recommend. These are the things you'd have to do to write that brochure. You'd have a briefing with the client, which is 2 to 3 hours. Research, 2 to 3 hours. The writing is 2 to 4 hours. The reviewing with the client is about 1 hour. And the revisions, which I always include 2 sets of revisions with the work that I do, because you never get it right first time, so don't even try to, is about 2 to 3 hours. And then a contingency of 1 hour. So the total hours worked is anywhere between 10 and 15 to write this brochure. See, people get confused and think, wow, 15 hours to write a brochure. And what they have in their mind is this person furiously writing for 15 hours. But really, what you're charging for is all this work behind it. So how can you earn the 117? Well, there's some assumptions. Let's say you charge $75 an hour. Okay, let's just pluck that figure out of the air. And that is not unreasonable. That is very conservative. Let's say you source 2 clients a week who need a brochure. Okay, let's look at the calculation. 15 hours. Oh, we've lost power. These guys were sitting back, having a bit of a fag. Sorry, guys. I'll read it out to you. 15 hours, okay, at $75 an hour.
We'll act it out over.
Yeah, do my little role play. Is $1,125 per brochure, okay? You write 2 brochures a week, you get $22.50 a week. $22.50 by 52 weeks a year is $117,000. That's how the calculation came about. Can you see? No, you can't. So I should add that clients generally need more than one piece made. So once you get in with, say, a brochure, like a small thing like that, they will want to get you back for the website, the ebooks, the articles, because once they've had that 2 to 3 hour briefing, they don't want to rebrief somebody else, do they? They want to go with the person that they've given all that information to, and you build a bond. And you get to know their business better than they do. So this strong loyalty occurs, which is why you don't have to keep sourcing new clients consistently. Now, you're probably saying, well, is this all true? Well, I'm saying, don't believe me. Read these emails, and I'll read them out to you. This one's from Steve Anagostu. This came through in February. Hi, Bernadette. It's been a couple of weeks now, and I'd like to thank you once again for the lead. It was very kind of you. And I hope I do you, your school, and your cause and the faith you've shown in me by giving me this lead justice with the standard of work I will produce for this client. It's all well and truly underway and going really well. His A4 brochure has turned into a full presentation pack, and the budget is no longer $100, which is a little smiley, because originally the guy said, I've only got $100 to spend. I'm like, yeah, just go with it. He'll spend more. I helped him to identify the need for more copywriting work than originally planned and envisaged, and so we have completed a presentation folder, a flyer, and I'm now working on a 6 to 8 page brochure as part of the promo pack. It's unreal, I love it, and it's all thanks to you. In the meantime, I've picked up 2 more confirmed clients with different needs and projects, and a 3rd and possibly 4th are on the go. It's actually getting quite busy. I'm doing insane hours and I'm finding it hard to keep it all. I love it. This is to be the best experience of my working life, as I'm actually spending time doing what I love to do, writing and getting paid to do it. Who would have thought? Unbelievable. Best regards and a big thank you. Now, I have to tell you, Steve is a great guy, right? But he's not exactly David Ogilvy. David Ogilvy is like a key gun in copywriting. But you know what he is? He's really motivated and he's really, really gregarious. And that's how he works. Here's another one from the 17th of September. Hi Bernadette, hope all is well in your world. I'm super busy with copywriting. Insanely busy would be an understatement. I've picked up some big clients along the way, such as Diabetes Australia, Queensland. I now edit and produce their quarterly 30-page magazine and their health practitioners newsletter. The course was the best platform for me to start off on, and it gave me the hugest confidence boost that I could actually turn this into a living. I purely work for myself now, and it's from Karen Brown in Queensland. And then there's some articles from students who've appeared in the newspaper. One was a microbiologist, she's a doctor and she's a scientist, and she was really over with the science. And she thought, I'm going to be a copywriter. So she became one, gave up her business, and they wrote an article about her in The Age. And there's another student of mine who had a small child, and she earned $1,650 in her first week. And that was written up in The Age as well. So I give my students opportunity for PR too. So if students do well, they tell me, and I try and get them some work, some coverage. So if you're a business owner and you want to promote your business anytime you want to push a product or write an email or write a web page, write job ads, proposals or tenders or sales letters, and you never want to employ another professional copywriter ever again, become a copywriter. This skill as a copywriter will last a lifetime. You invest in it now. Firstly, it will change the way that you think about communication. I'll give you an example. I've got a small boy, I've mentioned before. And I said to him the other day, look, put your coat on, we're going outside. And he was like, I said, put your coat on, because we're going outside and you'll stay warm. And he put the coat on. Oh, that's interesting. He understood the benefit. I tried it again when he's in the bath. I said, time to get out of the bath. Get out. I said, what if you get out of the bath and we go and have some yogurt and some chocolate on top? He goes for the plug. He pulls out the plug. True story. It's a true story. So when you understand the process of copywriting and the process of benefits and what's in it for you, what's in it for the customer, you'll start to think that way and you'll start to actually communicate that way. So when I start a conversation with somebody, I start off by saying, what's in it for them? So the reason I'm telling this is because, and what I need is this. And I get what I want. Not all the time, obviously. But, I get a better chance of having influence. And that's what copywriting is all about. It's having influence and getting people to take action. Now, if you're a business owner with a database, you have hit the jackpot. And do you know why? Because you can let them know that copywriting is now a service that you offer. Now, you need to understand the copywriting process, but you don't actually need to do the work. So what I'm suggesting is that you send something out to your database and tell them that copywriting now exists. You let me know. I put my copywriters onto it, and you get a commission. So you don't even have to do the copywriting in order to make money from copywriting. Does that sound interesting? Because I guarantee you, if you put a word out to your database that copywriting now exists, there's a service, there's these great people who can do it for you, people would be interested. So how are you going to find clients? Okay, I know that's running through your head as well. How are you going to find some clients? Well, we have a system. It's not hard. It is not brain surgery. But in summary, this is how it works. You get some business cards. I've already told you about the power of business cards, haven't I? But really, go to vistaprint.com. It's a website, it's American. You can get business cards for $7, which is just postage, and you get 250 business cards, and on it you write copywriter. I say this to all my students in week 1 of the course. Get your business cards. It'll be the best thing you do. Because when you go out to events like this, lunches, seminars, whatever you happen to be doing, like a wedding, give out your business card and say, I'm a copywriter. Now, under your breath, you're going, who's going to notice? But if you do it with congruency and with confidence, people will just accept you at face value. Or if it's people that you already know, just say, look, this is what I'm doing now. Okay, it's just a sideline that I'm trying out. And just see what the reaction is. Just try it. What have you got to lose? Have a bit of fun with it. So that's what you say. I'm a copywriter. Okay, and they'll say one of 2 things, or one of 3 things. What's that? Because they don't know what it is. And that gives you a wonderful opportunity to say, well, I write brochures, websites, and newsletters, and things like that. And you end it there. Okay, you don't rave on about, oh, I can do signage, and I can do proposals, and I can do tenders. You don't keep on going. You just stick with newsletters, brochures, and websites, and things like that. Because in their mind, you can see their eyes start to tick over. They're going, maybe I could use you. So the second thing they might say, is that like trademarks, intellectual property? Because I often think I'm a lawyer who specialises in IP, and I'm not, obviously. So I say, no, I'm a copywriter. I write brochures and websites and newsletters and things like that. And the last thing they might say is, if they understand it, be like, oh, that's interesting. What are you working on? So they understand what I'm doing. So the second step is, after you've got your business card, is you build a little database. So every time you meet somebody, you get the business card, you put that into a little database, and that becomes your key contact file. And then you send them a newsletter about copywriting. And in my manual, I've got this massive manual. You just pick and choose a bit of content from it, create a newsletter, and out it goes. Or just get an article from articlecity.com, cut and paste it, make it your own, give them the credit, of course. There's content out there anyway. You don't even have to write your own. And just stay in touch with your database. This is marketing. It's what Deborah was just saying. Marketing is a constant process. It's not something you do and forget about it. You're sending emails regularly to them, because people aren't in the market for copywriting all the time. People have a need that pops up out of nowhere. So if you're the person who's got your information in front of that person when that need arises, you're going to be the first person they think of. Top of mind awareness. Now, with your emails, it's important that you don't put in all the sales gump. I'm a copywriter, and this is what I can do, and this is what I charge, and this is what I've worked with. You give them some interesting content, some educational content. And then the last bit is a little bit of sales. If you need a copywriter, let me know. I can do a web audit for you. Special 1-hour consultation for free. And you give them a review of their website, because everybody wants to know if their website's working the best way it can. So the question is, what's stopping you from getting started? And in my opinion, it's the FEAR. False expectations that appear real. That's all fear is, isn't it? You think something's going to be like something, so you don't do it. You think, this is going to be scary. This is going to hurt. This is going to put me out of my comfort zone. And that fear is actually greater than when you actually get in and do it, isn't it? It's like anything that you procrastinate on. Once you start doing it, it's not that bad. So I want you to have belief that this is possible, and really by doing it is the only way you're going to know that. That's why I say to my students, get a client. I'll find one for you, just a friend, someone who's just a friendly client that you can work with. Because what they say to me is, look, I think I should go through the whole manual first. There's 21 chapters. And then when I've gone through the whole chapter and done every assignment, I think I'll be ready for a client. I say, you're going to get the client right now. And when you get the client, then you work out what they need, and then you go to that part of the chapter. So if they need a web page, go to the web chapter. If they need a brochure, go to the brochure chapter. If they need a headline, go to that chapter. That is the best way to learn, is to jump in, boots and all. And because no money's at stake, maybe some contra, maybe you're swapping products. It's a nice thing to do, so you're getting something in return for your work. There's no money at stake, so the risks are low. People don't have high expectations. So is it hard? Can I do it? Well, the thing is, I will hold your hand, literally. This is my company. I don't have staff. That's why I left corporate life. I don't want staff. I don't want office politics. I don't want to have to negotiate all those things that require you to do when you work for an organisation. So it's just me. But I outsource a lot of work. I have loads of contractors. And that's the way I like to work. Tim Ferriss, the book that Deb mentioned, The 4-Hour Workweek. You must read it. It will change your life. It will change the way you think about work. Who's read it? Would you agree? It kept me up all night. And what you're learning today is what Tim Ferriss is all about. So yes, I will work with you. I will hold your hand. I'll be your coach. So what you see is what you get. You ring me and we speak. The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Will I help you get work? Yes, I will. That's my job. Do you need to be creative? No, you don't. Do you need to be able to use software? No, I don't use software at all. I thought I might get some graphic design skills up, so I did a course. Hated every second of it. It's just not my thing. My brain doesn't work that way. So there's no point in me even trying. And really, if you're going to do a software package like InDesign or Publisher, you've got to spend years learning that to do it properly. So I think I'll just stick with what I know and I'll outsource the rest. And I encourage you to do that as well. Stick with something you know when you start writing. Start with an industry that you understand. If you're an engineer, write for engineering firms. If you're a builder, write for a builder. I'll give you an example of how I sometimes do contra. I'm building a deck at the back of my house. We're getting the deck redone. This builder comes over and he starts giving me this quote and I'm going, right, okay, no problem. And then he starts to tell me that his website has been under construction for 3 years. I'm going, we've got something in common. So what about if I fix your website and I write it for you and make it look really schmick and give you some good keywords and some great SEO? How about we do a trade? Yeah, no problem. So I've got a $13,000 deck for contra. How good is that? This is what you can do. You don't even need to trade with money. Find a product that you need and approach someone. Look, I didn't know his website wasn't up. I didn't know that. He just brought it up in conversation. But the minute he did, I thought, I love working for contra. It's great. So you don't need to be a graphic designer. Okay? You don't need to be technical. I am not technical. I use Word. That's what I use. I struggle with Excel. I use Word. That's all I do. And if you think about being a web writer, do you need to know HTML or Dreamweaver or any of that coding? No, you don't. You just need to know Word. So effectively, what we're giving you are the training wheels, okay? We give you the training wheels, we give you some clients, we give you the hand-holding, we give you the ability to get going. Because momentum creates results. When you have a good result with something, what are you? You're inspired, aren't you? You want to keep going. So that's what we make sure happens. And then we take the trainer wheels off and you're going. And I haven't had, some students haven't called me for a year. I think, I wonder where they're gone. And then I finally talk to them and they're flying. They don't need me anymore. So what I'm going to say is just believe in yourself. Okay, that's not something I can do for you. But you can do this. And as I said, it's not about talent, it's about motivation. I've had really talented students in my course. I think, wow, they're going to do really well. And at the end of the course, they don't pursue it. They don't have the hunger. They don't have the desire. And yet I've had students who are less talented but really motivated, and they do beyond my wildest dreams. I think, I'm not sure how they're going to go, but they do fabulously because they want it. So other people are doing this, why not you? Now, I have to ask you, what other occupations can offer you the lifestyle and the perks that copywriting can? And if you hear all the people that have spoken today and over the last day or so, what's at the fundamental root of that? It's words, isn't it? If you can write the words, you can control things. And all you need maybe is a little bit of training to build your confidence. Because I tell you, when students come to me for coaching, the first thing they first say is, I don't think I can do it. And I say, okay, let's break that down. What do you want to earn per month, per week? How many clients would you need to get in order to make that? And so by the end of it, we're saying, hey, you need one client. Is there anyone in your circle that you know that you could ask to write their brochure for them? And they go, oh yeah, I've got so-and-so, I've got so-and-so. And suddenly they're off on this train of all the people that they could contact who need this. And I know it sounds awfully like network marketing, but it's not. People actually want this stuff. But look, really, if not copywriting, then what? What else can give you that opportunity to earn $75 an hour and upwards? No experience, no capital, no investment, no staff, no nothing. It's you and a pen. That's all it is. So that's what you need. You need a pen, a computer, you need the internet. I won't kid you, you need the internet, and you need a phone, and you need a business card. They are the tools of the trade, okay? Now, does it sound too good to be true? Who thinks that? And be honest. You do, don't you? You're smiling. Oh, let me tell you, I'm going to read this email from a student. She said, Dear Bernadette, my name is Amanda and I came to the seminar you had in Sydney. It was very informative and inspiring. I thought you made it sound too easy, but it turns out you were right. When I got home, I ordered the business cards. Then I emailed about 30 small museums and galleries introducing myself and offering affordable copywriting services because my background is in arts journalism. I got an immediate reply from a woman who said she will keep me in mind for when they restructured their website. Very excited. Then I put a notice on a classified section of a yoga website, and the guy that runs that site replied to me. To cut a long story short, I've been hired to rewrite copy for the site, which is being restructured, and to write my own blog for them. So she thought the same thing, and I know you're probably thinking it too. So that's what it comes down to. Do you think it's possible? And I'm going to show you afterwards, well, I can't now because we haven't got the thing, but I've got literally hundreds and hundreds of testimonials from students who've written to me and told me what the course meant to them. I've been running it for 8 years. I don't even put up the new testimonials. There's just so many there already. So it's about you and can you believe it's possible. So firstly, I want to tell you what you're going to get if you enrol in my course, because I've got two options for you. I've got the silver option. Okay, so if you're interested, you've got a little bit of that intuition, a little voice saying, this could be good, this could be finally what I want. The first thing is the ad pack. There's 120 pages of award-winning advertisements, ads like you've seen tonight. And when I get a little bit uninspired or my creative juices aren't flowing too well, I just flick through that and it gives me some great ideas to get started. Great advertising. What is it and how is it created? So there's a whole section on what is great advertising, how do we know it when we see it? How to set up your freelance copywriting business. So step-by-step instructions on how to set up your business. Hello. You can be seen. Don't you know when people run across the stage like this? It's like, we can see you. But thank you. Thank you. How to find work as a freelance copywriter. Now that's the key, isn't it? So I'm going to give you some steps. I've given them to you tonight, but they're really not much more complicated than that. It's doing. Go out to an event. Like I went to a seminar the other day. I went to Jamie's event actually on Monday. I sat next to this man and we got chatting in the break as you do. What do you do? I'm a copywriter. And I saw him go, give me your card. So I gave him my card and he's a seminar promoter too. So he said, I need lots of copy written for my seminars. He says, I can do it, but I don't really like it. Can you give me a hand? And I kid you not, that happens all the time. Airports, restaurants. I'm at the airport in Brisbane the other day. I'm going to get a cab, and this guy's trying to get in front of me to get the cab. So I was going to give a bit of an elbow and a shove. I'm like, no, I'll be nice. And we got chatting because the cab was just sort of rolling up. I said, what do? You know, what brings you to Brisbane? He said, I'm a property expert. I speak on property. And I said, that'd be interesting at the moment with all, everything that's happening. He says, yeah, it is. He says, what do you do? I'm a copywriter. Give me a card. I'm talking about a 2-minute interaction. And this is what happens all the time. This is what else is in the manual. How to find work in an advertising agency. So for some of the young boys around here, that might be something you're interested in. The creative brief, which is the guts of the whole program of copywriting. This is a 21-question template. So when you have a client, you ask them these 21 questions. You don't need to make up new questions. They're already there for you. It doesn't matter what you're selling, you ask the same questions. And it saves you having to recreate those questions in your mind every time. And I put that document together because I never had a template. So I took all the templates that I'd got over the years from different advertising agencies and I put it together as one. How to write long copy internet sales letters, that's going to be really big. How to write direct mail. How to write brochures. How to write headlines that sell. So what you saw was just a sampler of what will be covered. How to create compelling offers. Because it's one thing to say, come and get it. It's another thing to say, well, this other company is doing exactly the same. How do you get a company to choose you over another if they're offering exactly the same thing? We have an offer. How to make money from copywriting. How much should you charge? How long do jobs take? How do you communicate your price to a client? How do you deal with objections to the work that you do? How to format and present copy to the client. So the way you present it is as important as what you actually write. So we show you the layout and the industry standard formats that you can use. And of course we have guest tutors come in and give you some advice on their experiences as well. And of course you work with real clients, and that's really got to be the practical thing that most people love about the course. We give you practical experience. We tell you how to write AdWord campaigns, how to write for the web. We have this web audit. It's a 100-question audit, so that when you go to a client, you can say, look, these are the things you need to work on. It's a wonderful introduction. You use that as part of your networking tool. How to come up with great ideas. You looked at those ads about the Porsche, about the halitosis product, about the space wagon, those great conceptual ideas. We show you how to come up with those ideas. How to write words that sell. There are certain words that resonate with people more than others. How to start sentences off, because I find that to be, for me, the hardest bit. Blank piece of paper, where do I begin? You get this wonderful little document. It's got things like, it's your biggest nightmare. Have you ever noticed? Wouldn't you like to? Imagine if. And these lovely little phrases that you can use to get you started. How to write press and print ads. So here's what you get in the package. Okay, this is the silver package. You get that manual that I've just told you about. It's got 21 chapters with all that information in it. There's the 10-pack of the DVD, because of the seminar, we filmed it. We professionally edited it. So now there's a DVD for each of those sections. That's what you get. We also transcribed all those lectures, so it's now in a 210-page ebook. So you can read it word for word, what you see. There's a DVD of how to write headlines that sell. It's a whole presentation on how to use headlines. And the 7-step formula to writing successful ads, because ads are just templates. You plug in the right information. It's like painting by numbers. It's so easy when you know how. And all you have to do is know these templates. The 23 Secrets of Business Success. This is a CD. It's got 23 ebooks on it. It's got 2,500 pages of books by authors like Seth Godin, Joe Vitale, Mark Victor Hansen, who you just heard about, Robert Allen, Napoleon Hill. And one of my students who has this, she said, I can't believe there's an ebook I've been looking for, a book I've been looking for years in a bookstore, and it's on that CD. She was over the moon about it. The DVD of how to write professional eBay listings at work. So we filmed that presentation. And you can see exactly what went on at that conference, where you have to be a power seller to get in. And the workbook. So if you want to use the workbook to write eBay listings, that can be the basis of your eBay copywriting career. And there's a 3-pack DVD of copywriting for consultants. And what I did not very long ago was I was invited to speak to a group of sales reps for a magazine, because they're not copywriters themselves, but they talk to people who need copywriting. So what I did was I gave them a training program on how they can help their clients make more money from copywriting. Because if those people advertise in their magazines and don't get a result, who do they blame? The magazine. So these guys are now helping their clients to make more money. So if you're a consultant or a coach or a business development manager, that's the kind of product you can give to your clients to help them make better ads. CEO copywriting. What every business needs, what every business owner needs to know about getting on page one of Google. This is a CD. I've interviewed a specialist SEO copywriter and I've asked all the basic questions that everyone wants to know about SEO and how to get into it, and how to write SEO copy, how to hire an SEO copywriter. A CD, how to get media coverage, the secret to writing brilliant media releases and getting free PR. Wouldn't it be great just to write one media release, send it off to a couple of publications and be seen by literally hundreds of thousands of people? You can do that. A CD, secrets to creating a great website, how to get it right the first time. This CD was born out of the fact that it took me years to get my website right. And I spent a lot of money trying to get it right. I wasted a lot of time. So if you don't have a website, I know a few of you don't, this is a great CD to listen to because you'll learn from the mistakes that I made. A 5-page report, Power Words, Words That Sell. I was talking about, it's your biggest nightmare, have you ever noticed, just discover, imagine, all those little phrases ready for you to use. CD, secrets that professional copywriters use to create adverts that get results every time. So that's really a summary of what the copywriters do to get results. We also give you access to the job leads, both for paid work and work experience. And lastly, you get a coaching call with me. Okay, so again, we don't leave you on your own with the book and all the CDs. You call me, we set up a time, you send me work, I give you feedback on it. That's the whole point. So the value of that package is $6,007, okay? But what you pay is just $23.95, and that's going to get you started. And if you sign up tonight, the first 10 people to sign up will get an extra bonus coaching call with me worth $450. So you get 2 coaching calls. So the total value of this package is $64.57, but you pay $23.95, okay? But wait, there's more. There's the gold package, and what that is, I'm going to cut that down so that we can move on. But what it is this everything you just heard about, plus the 2.5-day copywriting boot camp with me as your tutor in Sydney or Melbourne. Okay, so you get all those things we just talked about, the manual and the CDs. It's about 25 units in this product, but you get the 2.5-day workshop with me. So, let's see what that's worth. That's worth $9,206. If you buy it today, it is worth $19.99 by 3 payments, which is $54.95. So you just pay a monthly instalment of $19.99 and you get the whole 2.5-day workshop with me. Plus, as a special bonus, we're going to film it, edit it, and you'll get the DVD pack as well afterwards. And you get the coaching with me as well. So, that's my presentation for tonight. But before we leave, let me just add, what will it take to earn $117,000 doing something else without any experience? What else are you going to do? If not copywriting, what else? Where you work with no boss, no politics. If you want children, it's a wonderful occupation to work around. You work when they sleep. It's fantastic. And also, you have a 100% money-back guarantee. You know me, I'm here, I live in Melbourne. This is all Australian-based material. It's for the Australian market. Okay, so if you don't like the course, you don't think it's what we're saying it is, you get your 100% money-back guarantee in 30 days' time. With the seminar, you can come for the full Friday night, half of Saturday, and if at that point you say, Bern, this is not for me, I'll write you out a cheque. No questions asked. We pride ourselves on the satisfaction and the quality of our material. So what have you got to lose by trying? Absolutely nothing. 0. You can still have a look at the material. Just have a look at it, try it out. So that brings me to a close. I wanted to thank you for staying on and staying so engaged, and lovely smiles and engagement from the audience, and for tolerating the fact that we didn't have our visuals as well. So I thank you for all of that. You've been a terrific group to talk to. So good night. If you'd like to ask some questions, I'm going to be down the back of the room, but fill out the form, Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you as a copywriter in the very near future. Good night.